All right, everybody, let's just settle in for Thursday. Welcome on back. Let's get to it. Get on over to harmonictrader.com. Get your TradingView free trial to Harmonic Pattern Collection. Send your username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. Okay. TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. Also, if you want another crack at it, be my guest. Get it now, and then in 2 weeks from today, we will do an open strategy session. I've been closing them. This one will be open. Get some, some Black Friday, end of the year kind of strategy stuff, and then we'll do some work on the new diamond indicator, how I look at that, and what we should be doing with the markets in general. What's going on? Come on, everybody. We're here Tuesday, Thursday, about 12:30-ish. We talk harmonic patterns, harmonic signals with the Harmonic Pattern Collection, mostly on TradingView. But let's break it down. Got NASDAQ up 180. Nice. Very nice. S&P's back 82. And, gold, it's $100 a day now. $100 a day. So right now, 5-minute time frame, guys. I'm just kind of looking at this. I haven't done much. I had an early long today. I'll show you what that was, but that was it. And I'm just kind of watching it grind up to this shark. We're still in October, right? What are the signals? What do we have going on here on the 5-minute? The last 2 weeks? Couple of shark patterns here. Just looking at them from a larger perspective, pretty clearly. 250. Going to be stiff resistance, I think, until we can really clear out. So the other thing to be looking at from last week, we are trying to get off the lows from October. And we're not that far off. I just think we're going to need more time before we really do that next wave. But the 4-hour is shaping up quite nicely. I just think everybody wants it now. But we talked about this last week. It's just an oversold. The dot, the green line, those are all proprietary signals. But what it means to you is that that's as far as the market can go on this reaction. And I'm still got my targets, guys. Those targets are higher. Daily is absolutely in control. The 4-hour, kind of what we're looking for into the end of the year now is like, can we do this kind of a thing and do a deep crab? That's a 4-hour chart, and it takes you into November. You guys know the numbers. The numbers are 26.5 forever. I don't know how long I've been doing that. And the bigger possibilities, I won't even get into that until we get to 26.5. But along the way, we get overbought, we get oversold, have the retrace, and then continue. And that's what's been going on since April. There's your 4-hour chart. I just, would need to see some individual action weekly, monthly, before I throw in the towel on anything and say, okay, we've gone too far, too fast. It's one of the beauties of the harmonic measures. I mean, we stick to the framework. Even, it's really easy to kind of like say, hey, that's too much. We've gone too far. Like, get me off the ride. I'm good. I've had enough fun. A little trader exhaustion can set in while this just keeps grinding higher up to targets 26.5. And that's where you are. Great to see you guys. What's up, Dan, Pure, Wayne, Grace, MC? What's MC? I hope you're enjoying the content. I know I think you've learned a lot since kind of jumping in with our crew. And I appreciate your contributions in our Discord. Folks, speaking of Discord, listen, just join us in the basic chat. I'm posting some patterns, lots of information there. And let's give away a 30-day trial to the software. Next person that puts in HPC 30, you guys know how I roll. Give you a 30-day instead of 2 weeks. And if you want to get access to what we do on the gold chat, just DM me. I'm really flexible with it, guys. I want to keep the whole community experience very cool, very loose, but strictly with the patterns and the levels. If you're doing other things and they work for you, go with it. For me, it's understanding of MW structures, patterns, confirmation, and then lining up those objectives. NASDAQ here, okay, is also on a return phase for this hourly bat pattern. I looked at that in the last week. Hey, Austral, you win, okay? You got to hit me up on Discord. You need to send your full name, TradingView username, and email address, and I'll get you set up. All right, hit me on the Discord there. I'll give away one more, guys, just so you guys can have that full experience. Join me on Thursday, 2 weeks from Thursday, that is, from today. We'll do a strategy session, kind of open, keep it loose, but some specific things that I want to look at. Right now, we got NASDAQ pushing, I guess, is that almost new highs? Up $1.90, but looks like we're now going to push to these higher levels in the 5. Top levels, 246. There you go. And then the full XA retest. It's only 50 away, guys. That's probably where we go with an overspill. That red line there, that gives us a nice upside target. I think, 320. 320 by day's end. And where did we see that before? Well, yesterday's throwdown was a type 1. 983 was something that, I was targeting as a possibility at 273 after the dump early yesterday. And then we just came back to the last green line. Doesn't seem like a heck of a lot's going on, but I got to say, this is just kind of your normal pause behavior. It's October. It could be a lot worse. When's the last time we've had an October swoon? Something like what happened in April. Been a while, but still, here we are. Great to see you guys. What's up, Stara? Welcome, James. Yep. James has a lifetime license to Harmonic Pattern Collection. Loves it. James, man, DM me. Let's get you in on the Discord. Just come on in. I'll give you Discord access till the end of the year. On the gold thread for what we do. I personally think we've got about 5 weeks, and then we should have this kind of year-end run. And I'm still targeting early January, guys, as a major inflection. Can we get to 26.5 by early January? And then just that would be it for now. I mentioned this last session. Just some of the tax implications. You could get a lot of tax loss selling, but I still say this setup going into the hourly or 4-hour chart, pretty nice. Can't fight this, the daily, or even better. Check out the 12-hour on NASDAQ. That kind of smooths it out. We're stalling here. A whole bunch of resistance where 25K, yeah, but it's starting to look like a dud. And the how do we know is just simply, I don't have a pattern up here, but if I was looking at the confirmation and just going sideways, I would just overlay here's a 12-hour, okay, 15 days. There you go. And just like that. So you take it even to November, already halfway through, but that would be the maximum I would allow this from a time perspective before that we just resume this regression channel. I mean, it's all like that, and then there's bring over the 30 days, guys, from the dot, because that's your, it's really the confirmation. We could even stretch it back and say that first HSI. It's either the 14th of November, or you get this, kind of look at that window. Just, it's the early, the 4th of November. So I've been really kind of looking at where is this thing going to start? Where do we start this final push into the end of the year? I'm looking for Bitcoin. I mean, God knows. Other crypto, might have to rethink it altogether. But the markets, I would love to see this last push. Currently, October 23, incredibly 30 days from today is basically Thanksgiving. Think about that. So this is getting close. Getting close. Daily, weekly stuff, guys. That's been remarkable. That's daily as a confirmation here, but going sideways. And again, how do you fail? Because the best situation for using confirmation, or even patterns for that matter, is looking for higher levels of bullish signals within an uptrend. If we were a downtrend looking to short, looking to get those oversold levels. Right now, here, oh wait, hold on 1 second. I got to take this off. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Okay. So that's how I'm looking at this immediate setup right now. I know a lot of people kind of got freaked out. A lot of people have not come off the cliff just yet, in my opinion, after last week. But look at the trend here. I would have concern, guys, if we truly break this uptrend channel, take out some immediate lows or even that flush low. Amazing, we're right back to the 886. That's the end all be all for the whole thing. The only thing that at this point I'm closely monitoring, and they look positive. Tell me about HSI. Tell me about amplified. Okay, these are our indicators. Yeah, a lot of people don't like to use indicators. I think the indicators really exhibit the true trending nature, especially acceleration breakout points like this. That is, really close. I would think another bullish day or two sets this off to break out, and then you resume back to the overbought. And I have talked about, here's our RSI indicator. There's standard RSI. Okay, and I'll highlight why I think this is so critical. Is because we have this piercing of the 50 level, 1, 2, and then RSI, or our amplified RSI, okay, has really held up. We're making that higher inflection. We get above 62. We take out last week's pivot, little retracement. That should send it all the way back up. That's where we look for acceleration. And even if I'm looking at a pattern or I'm looking at some kind of oversold trigger, I really can't expect price to move until we are at least at the 50 level. So that was last week. Big single day flush, and then right back to the 50. So you can start to build the argument that this consolidation is getting a bit stronger, sweeping higher lows, and then you get the breakout. Where is this going to go? There's only really one possibility, like every retracement, is a simple 1618. So get to the 886, which is like 25.2, 25, yeah, 275. All right, and then start to make the move to where it's a 1618. And I do think this next move gets you above 26. And that corresponds with the larger targets. We've seen it time, and I mean, every retrace. Every retrace, maybe this one back in July that didn't immediately go to a 1618. Okay, but the other corresponding ones did, like there and there. So that's the plan, guys. Been a mildly bumpy few weeks, but it's just all within this uptrend. Same thing can be said here with the S&P, but I think it's S&P is actually a stronger, greener, more impressive uptrend, and we're stalling. That's its exact number, 6,800. Our target is 7050. Has been all year. You guys know that. All right. What is it? It's just an overbought reaction. That's all. But again, look at what's transpired since last week is just fat recovery. All right. Get above these levels. Push it now. And I mean literally tomorrow, Monday, in the next week. You have to do that breakout move. And then that would get it going. Very close. Like, I would say here, this is the exact circumstance, okay, where we are right now. It's a little bit of a, I call it a little jig move, but really what it is, guys, back in August into September, you had this little retest. You know I love M and W patterns, and I'll show you why in a second, but they possess the structural points where if you get the X, the A, the B, the C, and then you go to the breakout and get above the B point, what is that? That's a BAM. It's the way I look at that is like a automatic kind of reactive magnet effect where it doesn't have to be the whole thing. Does not have to be, you don't have to pinpoint the exact high to low, but my strategy and the way I look at stuff like this is you get above that point, you've already established 1, 2, and then a third. You can at least anticipate that minimum move where you go HSI 55 to 65, and then when you get to 65, you blast through. There are so many situations where that happens for me of my expectation is like this. So from there to there, and then it just goes, and we get basically to target, overbought. And we're doing the same thing here. I think it's, you could already say that it's like this kind of a W bat action magnet move. That's what BAM stands for. We've already done it where HSI should go to 70, but we could take it up here structurally and just say, okay, there's another zigzag formation, kind of a complex move where, hey, and you can do this with the indicator formations. I mean, I think it's more of a general strategy, but it's real effective for me, guys, of saying, where's HSI? Is it above 50? Is it trending higher? Is it trending lower? And then what's the structural possibility? Is that a crab pattern? Go crazy, 1618 to 100 or something? Doesn't always do that because of the limitations of the 88 and the 100, but you can see how even if I'm just projecting a W formation and I'm saying minimum go retest that prior peak from where we are now next 2 or 3 days, that's going to have a follow through magnet effect. So ES, NASDAQ, back to 6,800, not a biggie. NASDAQ, you're 25 240 now, about to crack new highs. Again, we're looking at those larger targets from last week. Complete the bat. Complete this. Where'd you go? There you go. NQ, or there's the NQ. Yep, continuous. 240. So I'm looking at that, looking at this 50, really important retest. And guys, that was yesterday. Yesterday was a big kind of shakeout. Now we need to see it follow through, and this one bar will take you into next week where, yeah, we get that moving now into next week. Okay, good. And go for it. That's S&P. That's NASDAQ. Let me just kind of polish up on Bitcoin really quick, and then I'll look at what you guys want to look at and kind of just focus on those three. Because, look, Bitcoin is here at 110. What's the number? What's the number, you guys? Because it's still there. It's still in effect. The number's 111. We're now 110. Yesterday, kind of the major update check back move was we did form a dot earlier in the week, and then we hit it yesterday, and we held. Step one. 107,208. I think you guys remember me saying that on Tuesday. The low was 639. Not bad. Not bad. 639. Really? 639 with a trigger of 208. Also, 4-hour chart down here. Okay. Trying to make progress of the first higher low on the 4-hour. Notice it was not the flush bar. Okay, and we had to have a retest, which I talked about, but by no means are we out of the woods. I'm thinking we could actually have a pop to like a 112, but then I would be really hyper focused on what happens at 112. This is probably a 2 or 3 day situation. Just gonna monitor it. It's I think it's early stages still for any kind of a turnaround, but immediate dot retest like 112, guys, is there. But within the long term of everything, you gotta hold it. And it's not even this low anymore. It's no longer 103. It's this secondary low that happened yesterday because of the check back, 106-ish, 107. That's it. And I did stretch out and said, let's just wait for the larger breakout. But for now, 107 with like 118 on the top side of our immediate zone, and we stay in that zone. There you go. So it's not what people want. People thought Bitcoin would be mooning at this stage in the game, but I think you still have a few days of work to do. And then we could even throw like a 30-day window. It is certainly in the next 4 weeks, this should have all worked out. You don't take out these lows. Think of it this way. If this was the first sign of some kind of oversold window, well, you better stabilize. You better turn around. And by November 11th, guys, we should be making our way back to 118, 120. That's it. 111. That's right, Andrew. That's right. So look, still there. Uh, I certainly thought we'd be well on our way to the 155, 160 target. Okay, and I'm owning that. Been owning that since the second after I tweeted it in August. I was like, maybe that was a little premature. I don't think the Bitcoin move is threatened yet, but with crypto in general and the volatility, I'm not going to rule anything out, and I still am just going to position on daily dots like this, okay, and then monitoring, can we get progress? Remember what we were talking about with HSI, okay? HSI had to be above 50. We're showing you that in NASDAQ, and here's Bitcoin, guys. And that's today. I would think we just closed where we are right now. This is a big deal. And it's in the last 48 hours. We did not have this on Tuesday. We were in the process of kind of that retest. But now we have something that, okay, I'm going to watch closely, monitor closely. Only other thing I want to see, and this is probably in the next 2 days, and over the weekend, I want it by Sunday, get above 50. The bottom indicator, that's our new combo. Okay, I've compiled the two indicators really more as like a tool to monitor progress, especially define overbought, oversold in a more comprehensive way, and then even looking at 50 levels like that. Notice that, this is lagging a little bit, so I would say even today is like day one of considering it, and if we can get above the 50 by tomorrow, then we're really in business for some kind of recovery, and then we'll say, all right, for now, that will hold. For now, this 107, trying to put in something where that would be it. It's another smackdown reaction. Didn't feel like that a week ago. Certainly. But you're there. You're there in ways that you didn't have even 2 days ago. There's your downtrend. That's Bitcoin situation. Has more work to do, but throw it on. Like everything that I'm talking about and the entire year-end scenario now has to commence. And it has to happen within 30 bars. 30 days. It's like that. It gets you to the 19th of Wednesday, but the 19th of November. Okay. You probably say, no shit, Scott. Everybody's looking for that to happen in November. Now we can measure it. And now, if we're going to get that spring off of these daily signals, it's there. Your, tolerance for any other drawdown is completely limited. You're on that edge. Otherwise, and it wouldn't surprise me, just do some kind of nasty dip to T1 off the shark. That's it. That's the only thing I could see out of this not working out. We'll see. I'm doesn't mean anything's changed on me for Bitcoin long term. We'll have to just kind of take it into January, which is the other part of everything that I've talked about with outlooks and targets. And if you go back to January, guys, that the session we did in January, it was all kind of projected out to the end of January, early February as like our max time frame for this cycle, for the stock cycle, crypto cycle. So let's just settle in with that. I'm still fine with the progress on crypto. Not so much. I mean, Bitcoin, yes. How can't you be? There you go. It's a monthly. All time. Now, watch this. individual bars here bunching up like that at 110, and we know what the number is there as well, uh, you'd have a problem with any kind of monthly close under 107 or even under like a 3 bar range. So this gets super tight. Just another way to look at it where I'm not so much concerned or think that anything's over just yet, but the price action tightens up possibilities, acceptable retracements. That's it. I mean, I'm still looking for this. You know, we're here. We're up at that 1618, 1902 zone. Monthly Bitcoin. There you go. 102. Up to the 1902. 1902. That's the harmonic zone, guys. That it's just the scale of ratios, the way we look at it. Okay, again, it's not a black box thing like, hey, on that line we're just going to hit it, but it gives us that zone, gives us this kind of range of saying, all right, what's happening in there? Is there confirmation? Is there 3 bar reversal behavior, trend line violation, stuff like that? If you're looking for a trend change in here, a couple other things have to happen. Keep an eye on it. Let's get into a couple of what you guys want to look at. What's up, Mr. Live While You Live? I like that. Absolutely. The stories I could share. Solana, USD on, let's say, Binance. I think Coinbase, guys, they kind of edited some of those wicks from the crash on a lot of crypto to make it look better, quite frankly. I don't know. Like Cardano really should have a 30-cent low from last week. Binance Coin, or sorry, Solana here. What's going on? The monthly. Well, this is still an 886, but it's all about the weekly. And I said this as well, that Solana might just be done for now until we can generate an oversold daily something 4-hour pattern. I think it's a perfect type 1 come back for the 227. My only problem with his confirmation was not in the right area, but guys, again, this is why you get the software. You know, it happens to me, especially when I don't take a break of getting my head turned around and looking at Solana saying, all right, are we still going higher or what's the deal here? Well, T2 generated, and then the following week was a bearish candle. Okay, and then the breakdown, like if I wasn't able to say, I think this is it for now, or even just simple go into pause by the breakdown of the bearish candle and saying, okay, this has an effect. 227 is something this is going to have to deal with for now, and that's where you are. Deal with 227, and the way to resolve it, where this could maybe get back on an uptrend, is getting oversold again. I would want to see just some kind of reaction, but for now, type 2, target 2. Dailies like this, and I find this was really interesting as well. So we had this daily butterfly. Not the best because you're pulling off of, this is just like Ethereum. But the measurements are there. I'll get to this in a second, but look, this butterfly that generated on the dailies off of this inflection, you can't really see it, but there's enough bars. It's a proper XABCD alignment, your ABCD, your other ratios. But these kind of structures, I just look as a reaction. And that's what that is. 190.71 on the daily is a target 1 level. This got really close to being a perfect type 2. The only problem is, okay, we don't have any oversold confirmation after the fact. So I'd be patient on that. if you wanted to, let's say you're super bullish on Solana, even just to play the return phase, which this still has to do, but until we resolve that downtrend that started in September, guys, it's you're going to be waiting. Okay, it has more work to do. Here's the final thing. Remember what I was showing you with with Nasdaq and Bitcoin, all of that. This is another really helpful way to just, hey, is this a spot should I be longing and looking for some kind of recovery move? Not until this happened at a minimum. HSI is above the 50, RSI above the 50, and I would, you can do the same. You could just monitor standard RSI. It's a free indicator. You're not going to get as many signals, but that definitely works. And then combo above the 50. It's not ready, guys. It's like, let me go over here really quick. It's like Cardano. I mean, Cardano was downgraded. Let's put it that way with that last one. And though I like the 50 level here on the daily with Cardano, we're not there yet. I mean, this is a daily chart. This would have to happen. And again, I'm not expecting a rebound in Cardano because I think with that bad wick or whatever that crash was, which if it had real trades, shakeout, whatever you want to call it, that it needs more work. Both of those have to go up, and you're not doing that. I guys, maybe more than most. Okay, maybe more than most. Let me go to the weekly here with Cardano. That for me, this has got a larger structure coming together on it, and that's a problem. But there it is, full 886. We know that it's like this. Bang, there. It's not a bat. It's not really anything other than an 886. But the standard ratio works the same way. Major 886 has a reaction, come back for the retest. And until it does, that's back at like 35. Yeah, 34, 35. That's the deal. There are daily patterns, and I'm using this as kind of a really as a model and kind of a barometer for everything but Bitcoin. And yeah, lots of harmonic levels back here. No coincidence that we held right at 30 with all those patterns. Even if I was looking at this for some kind of confirmation and development, let's just say, okay, whatever that was a type 2. That's the retest. It's not ready yet. It's just not there. A couple more. Yeah, hey, Claire, what's going on? How are you? Claire wants to look at ETH. And again, guys, there are differences. And Ethereum is another difference here where that too is, you got patterns. We clearly have patterns. Okay, software is kicking out the levels in an ideal fashion. We've been just like a deer in headlights staring at that move from 1500 all the way to 47, but software kicked out this bearish crab pattern. And I just said, okay, we got to respect that. We probably go into a pause at 46, 45, 4400. I thought, well, to do a type 1 all the way back here at 3491, that would be a tall task. That's what it did. And not only it did that, where you now have to look at 3500 as the immediate support level. You're 39 at the moment. I still say you have to retest. I think with what developed en route to that was something bigger. And now we have this type 1 bat pattern I mean, it's just phenomenal what happened. It's really just 886 off of that level, but now we have to type to it. You got to go back. You're 3,900, guys. I'm not going to be looking at Ethereum until it's 35, 39 minimum. Minimum. I'm would also need confirmation. So these are some of the issues currently. You're looking for Bitcoin to turn around. Ethereum, not ready yet. How do I define that? Well, the price action's gotten strong enough to recover above the 50 and get moving from 50 back to 88.6 or amplified to get back above the 50. So, guys, Ethereum is still in this retracement phase to finish what started beginning of the month. And the number's 34.91 minimum. I'm just going to stick with these immediate levels. Yeah, I could say, well, is this another type 1 that wants to go to target 2? It's possible, but I'll just take for the next 400 lower. That's it. A couple more, guys. The short-term target for Bitcoin, I don't know if you missed that, but again, short-term target is 118 as resistance and 111. Even though we're below it, maybe stretch that to 107. Your levels here on Ethereum, you guys know, probably the number one thing takeaway that you should get the levels. Ethereum back to 3,500. Just be patient, wait on it. It's something where when it did the move to 4,700, as juicy as that looked to do some kind of smash breakout, did not materialize. And the bigger thing with Ethereum, guys, is this. Are we going to get an all-time 382 or something like kind of like this? You know, depending on the data feed, it's not, you can't really draw a deep crab here. You still have to say it's something like this, but you know, butterfly. But your 382 level off that low is a little bit lower. It's like 3,400. That would be the preferred minimum level. Again, we've seen how many of these push. That's not the breakout move. That's just the only thing we really need to kind of agree on. The move that started from April all the way up to the 886 exactly, that just a single thrust move. Going to need some kind of retracement on Ethereum to get that larger breakout thrust, which is, again, Ethereum longer term, as long as our C point, which is down here, as long as that holds, you've got a butterfly formation to 6K within the whole scale of this chart. It's a timing factor. Is this go sideways for 3 more months before you get that retracement to resume? Possibly. Right now, it's 3,500. Book it. And I'll be patient on it. And we got to 31.31. Let me just say that number out loud. Hop level, 31.31. Yeah. Then you got my interest, for sure. A couple more. I'll get to stocks in a second. What did SMCI do? I'll get to there in a second. Down 4. Yeah, no problem though. I think if we get these pullback moves, I got to be looking oversold. SUI, what happened? SUIs like this, guys, came back to really what we were looking for was the shark, which was a type 2. It went to target 2. And I thought, come back. If it's really strong, we'd go shark to 5.0. and then we go. And see, that was my assumption. Where's the confirmation on that retest? It's all the way down here, which is like 202. Okay, not bad, whatever, but what's the larger weekly? So are we not going to hold this? Because this is the other thing a lot of these are doing, especially ones that made progress. 230, and I'll stretch it down to like $2 should be it. That should be it. You should see some kind of continuation. And I don't give me one weekly green bar, please. 201 is that low, and I don't think there's any need to rush into this stuff. Glad to see this pull back, but give me something on this pullback. That I need a dot. I need a test this green line, and then some kind of turnaround. You look at the weekly. Again, what are the indicators saying? We're still down. I mean, just still not only down, but Sui cracked that 3, went straight to 2, and has been like this for 3 weeks. There's no use case in the world is going to get me in front of that. So you're that close. Probably going to get an oversold reading, which means weeks, bars, many bars down here. Probably last time we were down here was like this. You were here. No, you were like there. January, and then you didn't bottom until April. That's what's at stake, guys. That's when you're looking at that stuff, you don't have confirmation, you don't have anything to go on, and the best case scenario in many instances is you chop, you finish the consolidation, but that's a sideways to down, and you go through weeks of consolidation before you actually get any kind of move to even signal trigger. And with crypto and not doing what it should be doing by now, this is not what we thought, right? We shouldn't be breaking down in late October when the whole thing is supposed to begin, or should already be beginning. It doesn't have to, but I'm not crazy about that until I see some clear oversold signals. Sure. TRX, well, Tron, it's been a trender. Crab, remember the crab? There is a crab here, and I think that's what you're dealing with there. All right, that we had the crab at 33. All right, and talked about that. I like this because it was trending. Needed something oversold, and you're not there yet. I mean, I don't have the last situation where we got oversold was back here in January, February into even March, and then you had development. I don't have anything as registered oversold, and all your levels are like 28. So I don't have anything to really go off of. I mean, I don't have too many period crypto that's really in the right spot, and I think like the strongest chart at the moment is Binance Coin doing that crazy huge move. Maybe as like an oversold trade here, because Binance Coin was almost 1400, you had your throwdown to 850, but maybe that's the first spot we could start looking after that throwdown. I mean, just remarkable. Yeah, here, and that's like 1070. But don't have any patterns. I don't have a heck of a lot on 4 hour, daily, weekly. Just nothing really there yet, guys. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the crypto didn't recover, and let me show you one or two. I would say Cardano's up there. Where's AVAX? Remember we were looking at AVAX beginning of the month saying, all right, maybe if it got back down to 19. I didn't have anything else there. There's the daily. Check it out. We had this had a crab pattern. We were coming off a butterfly, or excuse me, a bat pattern where just a reaction said, all right, let it do this thing, and then we could start looking for a return move. Nothing. Nothing. There you go. That's avalanche. Psh. You would need a lot of work before I would even think about any kind of turnaround. And people talk about like, yeah, this thing is going to get a turnaround. Avalanche definitely. They've got X, Y, and Z. They've been beaten up, but they're going to turn around. I don't. No thanks. No thanks. I don't want to be sitting sideways for months in a best case scenario. The other one, guys, would be Doge. I last time too. Let me just pop it in. I think what happened the beginning of the month basically tacked more time onto any development, positive development that we were expecting. When October was supposed to start ramping up, it got smashed out, flushed out, and you're still early stages of a recovery. Doge did this all the way back down, depending on your data feed again, but 12 cents. Other places were 9. That for me, that's a problem. Not necessarily that it can't recover, but just that the time involved here, you're going to get sucked up at this 20 cent. I know we were as low. That was at 10. But you're kind of getting dragged down here where the support that needs to get retested is like 14, 15 to 20 cents, and you're probably down here for a little while, like this. Hold on. Any chance to get a recovery move on Doge from, call it 19? I think that's a good measured level. Won't start until we get a few more days, especially with this. Again, that's the trigger signal. You're oversold. You had that massive flush out. Is it really going to recover? Well, not until I can't even make that assessment, and that's going to be next week. I think we come Tuesday, we will know, and it should happen literally by next week. If we kind of diddle here and don't put in the work it needs to happen to recover, I think you're going to have a muted year-end run. There, I said it. One or two more. You know what? What's up, Tim Tom? Yeah, I can finish up with that, and I'll segue over with things like MicroStrategy, because we looked at that. It's deep in the zone. Here's XRP, guys. Another one where that got flushed. I'm going to say the same thing. All right, it's more about time. And I think we're here, type 1. You've got confirmation at 235. You're if we're not going to come back down there, you have to hold the 230 or so. I wouldn't want to be under 220 with XRP. This kind of broke the development that was supposed to happen here. We were supposed to have a retracement reaction, target to 250-ish, and then continue. What's going on here? It's a time concern. Here we go. There's the weekly. There you go. Hold on. Let me get a better data feed again. Where's Binance? Okay, there you go. Huh. Binance Exchange, that had a tick at 80 cents. Incredible. You guys think that's real? You really think that's real? I'm sure there was some coins that transpired at that low, even if it was a glitch. Almost want to look at time and sales. That has 77 print. Regardless, guys, the hourly, the 4 hour, all of this stuff, you've got some patterns here. I'm really at a prove me point. Really got to prove it. You got to hold these lows. You got to put in bullish bars. There's your 4 hour. Oh, look at that butterfly. I think I didn't see that on the other exchanges. Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm more concerned about 220 as not holding as much as the retest. But either way, I don't think you're doing much with this for a while. I think it's XRP's just you're going to go sideways here. You have, yeah, look, you have some daily confirmation, literally that checked back yesterday, but that only heightens the kind of the focus of how critical all this support is. You can't violate it. You simply that prior low at 220, boy, going to be an interesting weekend, guys. Going to be an interesting weekend. That has to hold that 220 area, or I mean, I hate to use this wick, but a lot of the exchanges they saw XRP on a flash down at like 150. That's what's at stake. Look, it's a lot of these crypto situations are like things like MicroStrategy. Check out MicroStrategy. Type 2. And yeah, let me segue into stocks. And if you guys have some other markets you want to look at, pop them in. Here's MicroStrategy. It's a type 2. What's the problem? We said no confirmation. Okay, are we at the 50? That's like a minimum. Yeah, but still no confirmation. That's not what I want to see. Again, it can go and do a full type 2 from here without confirmation. Doesn't need to happen. It's not mandatory. It's my preferred setup, but there is a type 2. If I was looking at even price action to say, okay, there's real support here. XA 297 is definitely, look, this crab pattern, it's one of the best structures we've seen in a long time. Here, you got to go way back. We haven't had a daily pattern since the shark to 5.0. Take a look. And that's why that thing really, MicroStrategy went through the shark to 5.0 and then exploded. So it's a similar kind of situation. And again, MicroStrategy is like the hyper Bitcoin play. Hyper Bitcoin, I think is stock play. Now strategy, but look, did the 1 and there was the 2. But again, I'm looking for confirmation like this, guys. I can't, it's one of the goals that I've had with the software. We can get patterns all over the place, but without the confirmation, you have a higher degree of, I think, of reliance on what the levels are telling us. And here's strategy. You go back, it was a year ago in August. There was the type 1, no confirmation. It went to target 1 anyway. So there's type 2. Retest the shark. And I mean, it's just insane perfectly to target 2. But if you were looking for this to yield a continuation, it didn't even start until, August, late August. And the retest was July, so it was a month of that. Then, hey, can I get a return shark back to 5.0 and go? You still had to go through all of that. That's my point. That's one of the advantages here. If you see the pattern, you know what it has to do. Reaction, reversal. Okay? Then we're not looking long until we get those definitive signals. That's where we are. Speaking of definitive signals, looks like NASDAQ high of the day. Ready to run for really quick. Let me just update. Ready to run for the type 2. There you go. Hourly. This has been kind of the objective. Full type 2. Same deal. Look. We hit it. 273. That's where we came in with today. Amazing. 273. But look, different market, different pattern, but the strategy is the same. You get the T1. That's the structural level with the pattern right there. Where's the trade with the dot and the retest? Like there. Goes to target 1 and you get some confirmation to say that's it. I'm done with the reaction. Let's go on the return. And there's the return. Now, target 2, guys. What do we need? We need something, some kind of confirmation. What do we have? Well, prior dot. That might be relevant. I prefer to see something immediate. T2 just registered, but again, that's not official until the end of the hour, 45 minutes. And we're going to look at here. Overbought HSI. That's pretty strong. I mean, this is a good read here because, look, amplified. That broke out on the 50. That was yesterday into this morning. Follow through up to target. And now we're going to do the same thing. Ride that. Don't even think that that's done on the move until we get out of the zone. Really nice follow through though for right now on NASDAQ. Let's look at a couple individual stuff. Ideas that are happening right now, guys, and someone's asking about TAN, and I'm still going to stay on the solar trade. And I think TAN is one of the better ways to play it. We've been looking at TAN and Solar Edge and First Solar. I think you got another opportunity just yesterday on Solar Edge to do something like this. Hourlies like this. Hold on one second. Hold on. 1 second, guys. Anyway, these are the kind of markets I would be lining up. They did their retracement. I mean, TAN gave itself away with the big thrust to threaten 50. Now back at 45. I like it because 67 is target 1, gives us framework. And you could say, well, Scott, where were you down here at 33? We were talking about it. We've been talking about it really since like 27. We got out of the zone. That was a big deal. Breaking out of the top end at 38, straight to 48, and you're looking for this 68 move. So find some spots to jump on. That and Solar Edge with another big fat pattern down here. That's massive recovery. It's going to take time. I mean, the devastation was real. Absolute. That was just demolished it. 360 all the way down to 13. Okay, price to bankruptcy, but now coming around. Probably a better play would be like First Solar. That got clipped, but not crazy. You got a bat. You had a bat. But I would still look for First Solar back to eventually. Look, go back, retest all-time highs. Like there to there. 284. But I like the TAN, guys. TAN is probably the best play out of all of those. A couple more. I'll look at SMCI. And Daniel, he had a bunch, man. DAR and pins. Rivian for Miss Leash. What's Miss Leash? And then I'll even all the way to the top. ARR for Mr. Affairs. What's ARR? I don't think you have that right. I think it's maybe ARQQ. Quantum. I think that's what you're referring to. Arcit Quantum. They all got crushed. Arcit here. Pretty sick chart. but I just draw it down to the daily. So the quantum trade took a nasty lick in the last week, but I embrace it. I'm looking at this as a daily oversold, much like the last few daily oversolds, and it's going to give us an opportunity here next week. Look at that HSI. And there's a whole bunch of these. All right, a bunch. But you got that first day, day one, much like here. Now you triggered, and then you took 20 days or something to generate the larger turnaround. Same can be said over here. So you're early, guys. I want to be clear. We're early. A lot of things have to happen, but it's like a first sign. This is a first sign. So ARC and then Rigetti. I mean, we were on those back in April down here, and then there at like 13, if you remember. Oh no, it was this. Rigetti was a bat pattern, looking for the one, and then it gave you the confirmation play, the continuation. We were looking for like 22 or 20. It's an 886. Rigetti went to, what was that? It's almost 60. So big throwdown, not surprised. We need some kind of confirmation. It's not there. 4 hour, just check back. This is a next week thing, okay? And a lot of those high flyers like ASTS, you guys know those. Just because this dropped 30%, is it over? No. We're looking for next set of oversold points to jump on. It's early. Today's day one. But there's AST, Space Mobile. Where's the daily? Yeah, daily had a bunch up there at 90. But let it come in, and we're going to get, I'm thinking next week with a lot of these. Look, there's your daily oversold. 2 out of the 3, but you're still early. That's AST. That's, Rocket Lab. That was the other one. And we had this list. We really started talking about these kind of stocks back in May. And they skyrocketed. They, did this peak out. Doing a retracement right now. Are they going to do bigger things? Yeah, possibly. But we're going through a retracement phase like we did in July. July was 52 down to 38. It's a sizable 25 plus percent correction. Why not do it again? And then we'll look. Like there, today's day one. Probably into next week. But a lot of those high flyers have retraced, setting up. Let's go. Speaking of let's go, NASDAQ, high of the day, up 230. Nice. A couple more. Rivian. Yep, we can look at that. Again, Rivian, I'm going to pull up this chart, and I'm going to just kind of bring it with a lot of these. Right? Is this trending? It's recovering. I do like the pattern here. You got a few patterns down here. But when we zoom out, this is why you're going to need more time. This is not just a recovery. It's kind of a major reawakening that needs to happen. We're to the right of the downtrend. We've been down for years, last 2 or 3 years. That's why this is different than ASTS or Rocket Lab. I'd rather be looking at Rocket Lab because, look, it's like this, up, retrace, get some dots, go again, retrace, get some dots, go again. This is in a good spot, maybe the best spot it's been since the absolute low a year ago. But it's not ready. It's not that needs more time. And there's a lot of them. I mean, again, you get the big patterns. I'll update this. So this is another one. Metaplanet is an exact example of that kind of situation. Love this pattern. All right, harmonic pattern. Only a harmonic pattern is going to give us that kind of visual opportunity. but it's a great pattern. Where's the trade, guys? That's always kind of my next step after identifying the pattern. Where's the confirmation that I actually get in on the trade? Is it 461 or is it 84 cents? Well, I'm going to wait for a yellow dot. Not there yet. We have the green arrow. That's oversold, but we still need yellow dot. Look, we're down here. There's the indicators. HSI, not at the 50 yet. That's a weekly chart. I'm going to say probably at least one, maybe 2 more weeks, and then we'll take a look at it. But that's that kind of the argument that we take on all trade opportunities. 5-minute, 4-hour pattern, yeah. Confirmation, yeah. Is the individual price action then turning around, exhibiting to really then spring us free? Because I said on Tuesday, it's somewhere around $3. It might be as low as 2 to get to 8. It's target 1. Same kind of a thing. A couple more. Apple for GoldenEye. What's up, GoldenEye? Apple's like this. Right back all time. I mean, amazing. Weren't we? Yeah. Briefly at all-time new highs. What was that? 2 days ago. Tuesday. And look, bat pattern. Here you go. Bat pattern all the way right back at the 886. Amazing. Where's the confirmation? Well, actually, this is pretty crazy. Confirmation just went bullish yesterday. Just went bullish yesterday. That's impressive. Up against that larger zone. Hold on. Let me make this bigger. There you go. Remarkable. So we held that yesterday. It was a perfect check back. The low at, what was that, 255.89. And I don't, we're headed back up into that zone. So 272 before this really rolls over. Here's a situation where great pattern right at an all-time 886, no confirmation, already showing itself to be kind of a dud. Hold on, let's do this. There, it completed back here on, was that the 23rd? There you go. 30 bars takes you into like early November, and it's now within that window pointing up. Still up. Apple's still up. Still up. Even in the face of that bearish pattern. And probably up for the next into that 30 bar window or higher. 272, guys. Nasdaq high of the day, 279 currently. Remarkable. I'm not an optimist. I'm an optimist, yeah, but I'm more of like a trend follower. I mean, don't fight the trend. And ride the trend to target, whatever your target is. And that's lay out the patterns to get the levels, guys, and then pinpoint the levels with the confirmation strategies. This is a great bearish pattern that is not a shorting opportunity. No, it's a dud. It's a sideways grinding dud. But if you can make that differentiation, okay, you're going to cross over into that point where within that tight 3, 5, 7 bar window, you can say, yeah, this is working. Yeah, that's not working. I mean, that's the most challenging aspect of it. Pattern completes. You're looking for confirmation. It's not there. You just wait. Let it happen. A couple more of silver. I'll get to silver and gold in a second. Rogelio wants to look at crack. No thanks. I don't know what crack is. The oil refiner ETF? Whoa. Okay. Well, this is like Valero. Valero was the one, but that's on the verge of a major breakout. Major. Mm. We talked about Valero earlier in the year because it had a pattern at 100, and look at that. Yeah, 107. Still like Valero, the best. GME running, define running. GME is not running here. Another non-trending stock. At least 2 or 3 times a month, somebody's asking for GME. Whatever it is that they say online to keep you interested in the stock, you can just show them, okay, what's the trend? Are we up or down? I mean, what's the prior high? What's the prior 30-week or 30-month high? Is there or there? Maybe someday this will have its run. In the meantime, you'll be here. You'll be 15 to 23. Again, the other way to look at it is come into your software. What's the last signal, guys? This is why I designed the software. I'll tell you a story, and I just want you to come in. What's last HSI? It's down. There are reasons why I work so hard to kind of bring a legitimacy to the patterns. One, just they got abused about 10 years ago where a bunch of marketers said every harmonic pattern is a home run scenario and then didn't even embrace the concept that there's reaction, there's reversal, every pattern needs development. That's what this is here. No pattern. But even in the face of that, I would just say, okay, HSI is down. My indicators, my relative strength stuff, still lower. Like if you really knew something about GME and wanted to do independent analysis of where's the price opportunity, your last level is like 21. Point being, don't go fishing for something that's not there. It's not there. Let's find some stuff that's there. UPS. I don't remember that having anything. I mean, I think there was patterns there, but yeah, just down. Again, not a bad idea because this thing is on a massive retracement, but let this be kind of the lesson. If it's stocks, crypto, futures, bullish confirmation, you take a shot, you run right into a bearish counter trend signal. That's it. And adjust your stops higher, and that's weekly chart too. So you had plenty of time to respond to that. But the thing is that exhibits the kind of lacking the not ideal behavior. We should be able to confirm everything was there, but get out of the zone, not generate any overbought, and actually get on your way to target one. That never happened. And we've seen that with these kind of irregular patterns that get stretched out. Again, UPS is like Whirlpool, and I looked at a bunch on Tuesday. There are big patterns, guys. Most of them aren't ready yet, and they might be weeks or a few months till they set up like this. I mean, this might go 3 or 6 more months before giving you a real signal. Nothing there. I mean, just nothing there. Upstart. Well, Upstart's the other one that did have everything there. Sorry about that. You were saying Upstart. Look, Upstart's this. Weekly HSI generated higher lows here, but the daily was the chart we've been going off of. So there you go. I mean, there it is, guys. T1 diamond. I know I talked about this the last 2 weeks. There's the dot. I mean, this is the perfect situation here. Upstart. All of that was like 48. I think 46 was Absolute targeted low. Forget what we were looking at, but there, you're day two, three into it. You're going to target one, or you get overbought and get an HSI arrow. We'll have to just monitor that as you come out of the zone. But this is a perfect specimen here. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry, guys. There you go. We need to find more patterns like this. Again, with the software, okay, what we've done, especially in the last couple of months, upgraded some things, brought in the diamond indicator. I think even it was like not even a year ago, we brought in the green line. All of that to pinpoint in the zone. That's the number one challenge, if you will. Probably the way that you optimize your trades. You let the pattern define the level and you use the dot to pinpoint in the zone. Is the trade 52 or is the trade 47, 46, 50, something like that? That's the purpose of going through all that, because we know if it's 48 or 52, we're still looking for 62.86 at target one. I'll follow up on that. I mean, that's active, live. That's a go. You know, stop at the lows, but it's going to take easily. You know, you're in the 30 bar window now. Maybe takes a little more than that. You know, there's target one. We're assuming this reaction. Yeah, you're there till, like I said, November 11. Stretch it out 30 days. A couple more, guys. Noon we did Bitcoin in the beginning. Go check that out. Sure. So no on the T1 for Apple. Probably get to the hop on Apple, Floyd. Beyond. Okay. Beyond was that crazy move. Again, guys, this is the problem with your low floaters. Especially if they go crazy like that. I mean, at some point, when you're at 50 cents and you go 10x in 2 days, it's just not sustainable. Is there anything here? Like, could you day trade that? Maybe. Not the greatest. I mean, you're really playing with fire on something like that after it's popped. You know, maybe you look here around $3, but where's the hourly here? Did see this. We're not. We got to get out of that oversold. If you were expecting, play that where it's going to really kind of continue to do something, none of this is pointing in the right direction. At least not yet. I don't know. Those can be fun, but guys, it's, again, if you get real on it, it was like a 1 week, a 5-day phenomenon. This thing is, it's still very possibly could be on the way to bankruptcy. Now, here's the funny thing. There was a pattern here, and it was a shark. I'm going to be flat out totally real. All right, this is coincidence. It's not. It would be very easy for me to say, oh yeah, of course the hop worked. You should have been at the hop. No, I'm sorry. This is part of the reality. The patterns are great. Don't get me wrong. But it's still about the pinpointing. Maybe you could have taken a shot down here at this diamond, but not really. I think someone posted that, or maybe sent it to me. Again, hop level at 117. Maybe you go back and retest that. We actually will get a dot. Oh, next week. Bring this back to me. They're probably not going bankrupt, right? It was a Walmart deal or something. So let's bring this back next week. It's interesting. How many of those have we seen? The other one you're asking about is Snap. And again, these, look, even though there's a big pattern down here, all right, almost deceiving. It's not trending. Like these crypto, I mean, like these dead crypto, you're looking for that as a recovery play, but you might not do anything at all. I mean, maybe you could have gone and Snap at like $7, trying to play some recovery, but seriously, this is why we do the 30 bar thing. This thing was kind of toast 30 weeks after the fact, way back there in 22. It's just lost its mojo. I know it's bounced a few times, but again, we want trending stuff, guys. We want things that are, progressing, have an advance, do a retracement, and then go again. I mean, as a recovery play, it's just risky. Risky. EXAS, Exact Sciences. All right, that's a little better. I mean, that is weekly. Didn't we look at this? All right, what are the difference between that major pattern and the one we looked at Snap? Well, longer term, this is not at all-time new lows. And again, still, I would argue that's still not the greatest of setups. But if we pinpoint where confirmation is, and this is going to be part of the stuff I talk about 2 weeks from today. Like, software kicks out a T2 right there. And then you get a check back. That's the perfect setup. All right? For if you're looking at a pattern, 5-minute, 30-second, daily, weekly, whatever, you want this. You want a software to print T1, T2, a couple dots or an arrow, and take it either to the level or take it to confirmation. Really happens. That's frequent. You get, and that's a sizable move there from those double dots at 44, and then you finally got bearish 72, and let's say you missed it and got caught in the flush, you're still out. Still out with 10 points. This one, a little bit different, but look, on the weekly, T1, arrow, there's the dot. The dot, after the dot is go time. After the dot is go time. Okay, that's the pinpointing. You could have taken a secondary shot here. It's not the greatest. All right, you start to get away from a lot of the ideal positioning you'd want right there exactly at T2. But it's okay. Take it to the next dot. I mean, it still goes higher. Is it going to do an end-all be-all move? Yeah, that remains to be seen. But okay. Couple more. What's up, Cosmos? Wants to look at Bros, Dutch Brothers. We looked at that, last week? Dot. Weekly, 55-ish. I thought there was something here on the daily. Oh, yeah. 52, 55. All right, look. Check this out, guys. Patterns, right? First is the reaction. Every time. I have to go through this. First is a reaction. So we get T1 to T1 dollar. And that's it. You don't follow through or you roll over it, you're done. Because it's a T1. Takes time, but comes all the way back. There's T2. Where's the confirmation? It's not at XA. It's like hop. Or even lower. 1 and 2. Like 51-ish. But it goes to 47. That's kind of sloppy. But you got the turnaround. All right, do we now get back to target 2? I would assume that. Look, you're using the software, you're using the price target entry, pinpointing of the entry and the levels to create that realm. Again, if this is 5-minute NQ or if it's daily swing. We know down here with all of this stuff, we're close to being oversold. We got patterns. Even with like simple trend line, like let it develop, let it break out. Because even if you're here at 47, the better entry is at 52 because you had 4 or 5 bars turning around. And we know if this is T2, we're looking for target 2. This is another. This one and Upstart are going to be the two we want to really follow up on. I like what's going on there. Early too. All right. 1 or 2 more, guys. I got to get some lunch. It's already 2:10. Rum, I like rum. Rum is under 785, right? That's what we've been waiting on. And that hit earlier in the week. Start looking. You know, or anywhere in here, that gives you, that's the box from the last time we talked about it. All right. The only thing that needs to happen, can you get this? Look, I'm looking at that pattern. It's a T2. There's a dot going sideways. But where are we? If I'm looking for an entry, are we trending above the 50 levels? This, just that simple technique, guys. Waiting for the T2. There's the dot. But where do we bust out anywhere? Maybe here. I think this is also, you got some weekly stuff going on. Wasn't there a big weekly pattern here? Yeah, it's the crab. Was it? Yeah, it's this. That's what it was. It was. You got bullish patterns at 7. You got this big reaction trade from the crab, T1. That should be it. You did have a weekly over. All right, so this is a positioning move where, all right, good. You've got a check back. We still need like another green week, but we're looking here under 785, 7, 685, 6-7-ish. But you need time to get back out. If you were looking for an entry, this week was like day 1. Still early, but I like that. I mean, again, I think you got a lot of things there, except for you're going to need time. And that's also something I think people, they overlook. Like they think it's like 1 point, you reverse and you go. It's just, it takes, there is a development phase you have to understand. Daily or weekly, it seems like forever, right? For sure. Got it. 1 or 2 more. Daniel with the pins. Didn't we look at that? Oh no, we looked at Snap. And pins and Snap, all of those are the same. I mean, look. These are all, I know this is a low floater. I haven't looked at that in a while. Weekly, 33. Let me get the history on this. More like that, but that's not bad. I mean, it's okay. Maybe we get a check back, and that's a weekly chart. Yeah, again, you get, these are constructive patterns. These are constructive charts. I'd say they don't really fit the regular, 30 bar model, like reaction. Get it, have the reaction up to target 1, and then return phase. But, you could take a shot, 30 to 40 general range there, daily. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to take a shot there, there's something, just look for the yellow dot. Beyond this exploding, yeah, you'd have to wait and see. I mean, this is pretty much stuck in a range for a while. Yeah, there's the dailies of Gartley. It's just not ugly. I'm sorry, it's not ideal. It's kind of ugly. And we want ideal stuff, guys. For sure. A couple more. No, 1 more. Duolingo is a software that my son introduced me to and had no idea about this thing. It's an amazing software, learning software. And then I guess it was like last year I started looking at this, and there's daily, the weekly's like this. It's a pretty impressive chart. This is maybe the first time, okay, on this retracement we could start looking at that. This is it's a pretty powerful uptrend. It's kind of like this. I would be looking at that into January, guys. All of your lower end supports like 286. I do like the company, and this is a spot where do a little research. My kid loves the software, learning software. Okay, they have a huge following. Where's the opportunity? Where does the company continue to grow from what price point? It's probably here like around 285. And that's the first one since really 2024. It happens like that. I mean, this is the other aspect of wanting to time opportunities with precision. You got to line it up, set the alert, and let it happen. Let it come to you. And that's probably another one of these. Yeah, I like that though. It is. It is an amazing software. Like that's something where I would look at that software and not know it unless I had a kid and say, "Wow, look at his interaction with that. He learned Spanish like pretty quickly on that app, and then he's not really a TV kid, but he loved the software." And then I saw the chart. I was like, "Oh, I wish I knew about this about 2 years ago." But that's all right. There are other opportunities. This is probably the next long-term opportunity, but we're dealing with a weekly chart, so give it more than a few weeks. If anything, they sell it off into year end. That's probably when you want to pick some up. And that'll be like in about 30 days from now, we're going to be lining up those tax loss selling candidates and start to grab them. All right, before I get out of here, I got to just kind of post up the gold chart. Gold is just, I think it's something that we need to monitor closely. Back up 100 today. All right, we're at the big all-time. We're at some all-time projections for sure. I go to like a monthly. Let me show you guys. Our all-time numbers that we've talked about. Well, off of the financial crisis, post-financial crisis correction, that 2618 forever has been at 4100. That was target one. And then we even said, what are super cycle, meaning all-time possibilities? Using harmonic ratios the same way. Where's the 1618? That was all the way down there at like 3,000. And then what happened? Well, it ignored that and went straight to its 2618, which is like 4250. I think that's your number for now. At least a pause. Go into a pause here for a little bit. 4150. Yeah, 4250 to 4150. We're 4150 right now. And think of it this way. There's 4 hour, look at all that confirmation. What I'm saying is gold's a little cooked at the moment. And to have a pullback, I think it's almost like quantum stocks. They need to have a pullback so they can go higher, if they're going to go higher. But there you go. Deep crab pattern 2, that's a daily. Use this crab. We're either going to take it down to target 1, 3650, let's hope, or next HSI. Oversold. This is just cooked for now. We're almost there. Maybe a little lower by tomorrow. Let it come down. And I'll say this. After we finish this correction, okay, I'm going to then watch for the bigger return move. Because I've done this so many times. We get these big kind of awareness moves, like big spikes. Gold to 4,000, great. I want to know if gold's going to do the bigger move. And that bigger move is like 5,500. And we get there. It's an all-time. It's this all-time 3618, guys. It's all-time. From there to the low, their 3618 is like this. There you go, 3618. 55, 5,400. So I really feel like this is a first parabolic push. It's not over, like, hey, cycle's not done yet. The gold phenomenon is for real. And my max kind of targets from there are at 5,500, but let's have a retracement first. Let's have a retracement into like November. And it might not be 36.50. It might be 38. It's somewhere in here. Let this thing finish out. We'll get a dot. We will get oversold, and then it's that next wave. I think has a lot of potential. If gold's going to do the unthinkable, it's going to be after this retracement. I mean, even GLD. GLD's been. I mean, it's better than Bitcoin lately. There you go. Just nothing yet. Nothing. I would say we are much like where we were on that first thrust back in April. We've entered another one of those. And look at where that actually gave us the confirmation. Big correction, spike, and then the confirmation came. That was a couple months later, but that's the idea. This trend in gold doesn't stop, not yet, but I would be setting it up like here to there, and then you go. And the bigger targets are, they are up there like 450, 500. Yeah, you're at 314 currently, 3618. On the GLD, all time is like up there 420-ish. There you go. That's how we look at Bitcoin. That's how I look at all parabolic moves, guys. It's a 2618 to 3618. It's been a phenomenal run. I mean, it's really been amazing. And silver, just to wrap it up, look, SLV is probably the way to go on this. And we're at all-time 886. It's the only number I care about. SLV is like 44-ish. It's where we are. We're at the all-time 886. Treat that as like a terminal bar. If we're going to get a breakout or whatever, it's going to be next month. And again, the possibility to go 1618, yeah. But right now, just let this come in. Where's the 4 hour here? Yeah, the 4 hour. Printing and oversold this morning. First time. First time on silver SLV. But give me a dot. Let's watch that closely. Still, I want a dot. And look, HSI is not at the 50, so that huge move's not finished. I think maybe by Tuesday, we'll be looking for another jump on point for SLV. I don't think that trade, it's the first kind of major wave on the weekly. There you go. Perfect doji. I mean, a lot of things here, HSI arrow saying down for now. My thought is this will exhaust itself in a few bars. That's a triple bearish confirmation. Just let that come in, guys. That's what I'm saying. Right now, it's done for now. So listen, best way to do it is get the software. Thanks for hanging in. Next person to put in HPC 30, I'll give you a 30-day trial. Everyone else, you get 2 weeks. Send your trading username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. And then remember, 2 weeks from the day, we'll do that open strategy session. Everybody else that's new, get over to Harmonic Trader. Basic membership. It's all free. Start there and get the software to learn. All right. Hitesh Sharma, you are a 30-day winner. So hit me over on the Discord. Okay, got to message me your username, TradingView username, email, and full name, of course. Okay, hit me on Discord. Everybody else, guys, have a great weekend, all right? Go enjoy it. I'm probably going to take off tomorrow myself. Enjoy the day with my son. And, come back around. Okay? Things are looking good. Very good. Let's take it into Tuesday. Come on back at that point, 12:30. Until then, as always, folks, go get them. Don't stop, ever. Peace.